chapter 22, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. Footnotes. God, Hebrew Elohim, Appendix 4, after, i.e., after 40 or 50 years in Canaan. Tempt, Hebrew prove, so Exodus 15:25 and all these other verses. In later usage, trial meant trouble. And these other ones, including wisdom and Judah. Okay. Behold, etc. equals behold me. Verse 2. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I tell thee of. Lovest. Note the reference to the antitype. Moriah, Hebrew, shown or provided by Jah. Compare 1 Chronicles 21:22, 22:1, 2 Chronicles 3:1. Christ crucified also on one of these mountains. Matthew 27:33. Offer, Hebrew Allah. See Appendix 43:1, Part 6. Burnt offering, Hebrew Olah. See Appendix 43:2, Part 2. Verse 3. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which God had told him. 3. And note the figure polysyndeton, emphasizing the calmness of Abraham's deliberate faith. Each and is to be noted, and each act weighed. Verse 4. And on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. 3rd day. Number 3 symbol of resurrection. See Appendix 10. Compare verse 5. Come again, first person plural, exactly 3 days' journey from Beersheba to Moriah. Gerizim is 2 days further. Verse 5. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. I and the lad, this is polite Hebrew, while the lad and I would be polite English. Yonder, Hebrew as far as there, as though pointing. Come again. This was proof of Abraham's faith. First person plural. We will come again. Verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand. Laid. Compare John 19:17. Fire. Without a doubt, fire from Abraham's own altar. 12:7, 13:4, 18, and see note on 23:33. For God accepted a sacrifice only by fire from heaven. See on 4:4. And he took the fire in his hand, and a knife, and they went both of them together. Both of them together. Compare the Father and the Son in the antitype, emphasized by repetition in verse 8, John 10:30, 14:10, and 11:16:33. The sinner is not seen in the type. His part is subsequent to this, namely, to believe what the Father and the Son have done for him in substitution. See also Romans 8:32, 2 Corinthians 5:19. Verse 7. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, or here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Here, etc. Hebrew, behold me, my son. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for the burnt offering. So they went, both of them together. Provide, Hebrew, yira. God will see or look out, himself, for himself. A lamb, Hebrew, the lamb. Verse 9. And they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. Verse 9 and 10, and then there's a verse 9 footnote lower. So 9 and 10, the and is polysyndeton. Each act is emphasized, and it is to be dwelt upon and considered. An altar, Hebrew, the altar. Verse 10, and Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. Verse 11, and the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. Verse 11 footnotes. The Lord, Hebrew Jehovah. Abraham, Abraham. Figure epizeuxis for emphasis. Compare the 10 duplications. 7 used by God to men in these verses. 2, 3 under other circumstances in these verses in the New Testament and Psalms. Verse 12. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. Now I know, figure Anthropopathia, see Appendix 6. 13. And Abraham lifted up his eyes, and looked, and behold behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Lifted up his eyes, figure pleonasm for emphasis. Looked, see note on 13:14. Behold, asterismos, Appendix 6 for emphasis. A ram. Some codices with Sam, John, Sept, and Seer read one ram, i.e. a solitary ram. A thicket, Hebrew the thicket, in the stead. Here is the doctrine of substitution clearly stated. Verse 14. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day, In the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. Jehovah Jireh. Hebrew Jehovah will see or provide, as in verse 8, see Appendix 4. In the mount, etc. Figure paromia, see Appendix 6. It shall be seen. It will be provided, or in the mount Jehovah will be seen. So it was in 2 Samuel 24:25, 1 Chronicles 21:26, and 2 Chronicles 7:1-3. Verse 15. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time. The second time, Hebrew, a second time. The first time was for substitution. The second was for revelation. Verse 16. And said, By myself I have sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son. Sworn. This oath is the foundation of Israel's blessings. And in all those other verses, David's sure mercies all grounded on it. Psalm 89:35, 132:11, and compare Luke 1:73. 17. That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. Blessing I will bless, I will surely bless, or I will richly bless. Figure polyptoton, Appendix 6 for emphasis. Star, sand, etc. Figure paromia. Appendix 6, see note on 13:6. The gate. Figure synecdoche of part. Appendix 6 again. Gate put for the cities. 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. All the nations, proof that the mystery does not mean the blessing of the Gentiles as such, but the secret concerning Christ and the church. Ephesians 5:32. Verse 19. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. 21. Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram. Again, no footnotes. Verse 22. And Chest, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Rumah, she bare also Teba, and Gaham, and Thahash, and Makkah. So 24. Oh, okay, there was one on 23 as well I missed. So actually I'll just read this whole thing. 20 through 24, the posterity of Nahor. Introduced here to lead up to Rebekah, the future wife of Isaac, not proceeding further with Nahor's posterity. See page 17. How Abraham's history is broken up into 3 portions by 2 posterities, just as Isaac and Jacob's histories are broken up. See page 52 and appendix 29. These 8, Nahor had 12 in all, as Ishmael had in 25:13 through 16, and as Jacob had 35:23 through 27. Oops. Maktah, see Deuteronomy 3:14, Joshua 12:5, and 2 Samuel 10:6.